Midnight train with no destination. It began with a sound, low, distant, and unfamiliar. A sound that didn't belong anymore. It echoed across the countryside like a memory, the whistle of a train. The locals in forgotten towns along the old tracks would sometimes wake in the middle of the night drenched in sweat, certain they had heard it, even though the tracks had long been swallowed by weeds and rust. The railway line had been decommissioned 50 years ago. Nature had claimed it back, wooden sleepers splintered, the iron rails twisted and buried under moss. No train had passed through in decades. And yet, people vanished. Always at night. Always near the tracks. They said the fog came first, thick and yellowish, curling like smoke from some unseen fire. And then, the whistle. A single, long note, mournful and wrong, as though time itself were groaning under its weight. Elias Boardman was the first documented case. He was a station watchman assigned to monitor the ruins of Station 17 on the outskirts of Dunwich. It was a pointless job, more for insurance paperwork than necessity. That night, Elias was drinking lukewarm coffee when the fog rolled in, blanketing the world in silence. His flashlight flickered. The air felt thick, like it had substance. Then the rails began to hum. Out of the fog, it emerged. A train, ancient, blackened, and impossibly long. Its engine hissed like a beast breathing steam. The windows glowed with a dull green light, and shadowy figures sat inside, unmoving. The door to the nearest carriage slid open with a hiss, though Elias saw no conductor, no passengers disembarking. Some silent, invisible force, invited him in. He never went. But the next day, he was gone. Only his empty thermos remained, still warm. Soon, more stories followed. A teenage girl in Grovestone vanished after taking a shortcut near the rail bridge. A farmer in Bell Hollow chased a strange light on the tracks and was never seen again. A drunk in Salewick wandered into the woods and was found days later, what was left of him, anyway, aged as though he had lived 100 years in a single night. The survivors, few as they were, spoke in broken words and stares. They described a conductor with hollow eyes. A train that didn't stop. And a ride that went on forever. A train with no name, no destination, only movement through a night that never ended. MIA Cartwright didn't believe in ghost stories. At least not until her younger brother Logan disappeared near the old Bridgewater Tunnel. She had heard the stories, who hadn't, but Logan was logical, grounded. He didn't wander. He didn't scare easily. So when he vanished, MIA knew something was wrong. She followed the clues. Town to town, she pieced together the legends. Disappearances. Whispers. A midnight train with glowing windows. Each tale more fragmented than the last. But one thread remained consistent: the train came only after midnight, always cloaked in fog. Always near a forgotten rail line. On the night of the new moon, MIA returned to the Bridgewater Tunnel. She brought Logan's old backpack. She waited in the dark with a handheld recorder and a dim flashlight. The fog arrived on schedule. Then the whistle. A sound so deep and cold that her bones ached. The train emerged from the tunnel as though called from a nightmare. Doors opened. Green light spilled onto the grass. And MIA, heart hammering, stepped inside. It smelled like ash and iron. The walls pulsed faintly, like veins beneath skin. The train vibrated with energy that wasn't electrical. Shadows lined the seats, people, or what used to be people, staring into space, mouths open, unmoving. One of them was Logan. His eyes were cloudy. His lips moved, whispering something MIA couldn't hear. When she tried to shake him, he didn't respond. It was like touching a mannequin dressed in her brother's skin. The conductor appeared without warning. He wore a charred uniform, his face covered by a brimmed cap. Where his eyes should have been, there were holes, deep and bottomless. "This is the train of the lost," he said in a voice that scraped like steel on stone. "There are no stops. There is no end." MIA demanded her brother back. The conductor tilted his head. "Once aboard, a soul cannot leave." She ran. Carriage after carriage, the train stretched on forever. Outside the windows, there was no world, only endless tracks through a swirling void. Time lost all meaning. Her watch spun in reverse. In one carriage, she saw herself as a child. In another, she saw her brother aged beyond recognition, staring at her through empty sockets. At the far end of the train, she found the engine room. But instead of machinery, there was a pit, a vortex of green fire and black fog, swirling with faces, screaming, clawing, begging. This was the heart of the train. This was what powered it. Not coal or steam, but souls. MIA realized the truth then. The train was not built. It was born from grief, from despair, from the countless forgotten souls left behind by accidents, cover-ups, tragedies buried in silence. One catastrophic train crash, decades ago, had given birth to the thing. And now, it hunted. She dove into the pit. She did not die. She did not escape. But she changed. She clawed her way back through the steel corridors, dragging Logan with her, against the pull of the cursed engine. The train fought her. It tried to erase her. But for one moment she burned brighter than its hunger. Logan fell from the open door, collapsing into the grass near Bridgewater Tunnel, coughing, alive. MIA remained behind. The train screamed. And vanished. For a time, it was quiet. The train didn't appear. No one vanished. The fog stayed away. Then, 10 years later, in a faraway town, a child heard a whistle in the night. An old, decommissioned station lit up with an unnatural green glow. A black locomotive glided silently into view. And inside, standing tall in the conductor's uniform, was a woman with hollow eyes. She had Mia's face. And the train, once again, rolled on. Endlessly.